What's going on, everyone? It's Michael here, and today I'm pumped to bring you one of the most frequently requested builds we've ever had. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Joker. This build is 100% lore friendly and is our interpretation of the character set in the world of Fallout. The Joker is a sadistic, maniacal killer. A troubled past, combined with the tragic events of Vault 111, transformed this seemingly regular man into a grinning psychopath, resolute in his wish to inflict incomprehensible suffering on the residents of the Commonwealth. The Joker is incredibly versatile and will utilize a vast array of skills to create absolute anarchy. He carries enough explosives to turn Diamond City into an ash-filled crater at the twitch of a finger, but he may instead choose to carve the citizens up like pumpkins one by one. His methods may be unpredictable, but with the Joker, one thing is guaranteed. Where he goes, mayhem follows. Before we jump into our craziest build yet, don't forget that links to each section of the video can be found in the description below. I also want to say that the inbound Nuka World DLC may open many creative doors to the Joker, as he is fond of fun. If there are new hair colors, new clothing options, and new weaponry which seem fantastic for the Joker, then definitely use them. Also, if you are given the option to join different raider factions, he will act how he does with the main game factions. Choose one group of your favorite raiders to manipulate and wreak havoc with, and if that's not possible, just cause trouble and stir panic as much as you can. Alright, now let's get into the backstory. The Joker was born in the suburbs of Boston. His mother died in a car accident while he was only a baby, yet to form his first memories. Attempting to raise the Joker alone, his father was unable to cope with the grief. He turned to the tempting comforts of alcohol, and once the drink took hold, it never let go. Throughout his childhood, his father never showed interest in him. If the man wasn't buried in a bottle, he was in a drunken slumber. However, the Joker was resilient. He enjoyed school, simply because it was a distraction. There, he was equal to everyone else. The Joker had a knack for making light of any situation. Maybe it was a coping mechanism, or maybe he simply took pleasure from making others laugh and the attention it drew. His peers took notice of him when he stepped into the role of class clown. If someone needed revenge on a friend in the form of a practical joke, the Joker was the go-to guy. His school locker was void of textbooks and worksheets. That would waste far too much space. Instead, he had endless supplies of thumbtacks, balloons, superglue, and just about every possible pranking prop the adolescent mind could think of. As school life came to an end, it dawned on the Joker that, despite his adequate intelligence, he had failed to apply himself academically. His only real passion had been comedy, and his mind had been far too erratic to listen as his 70-year-old teacher rambled about algebra. His only option was to scour Boston, looking for open mic nights. Laughter was something he knew well, and he believed the stage was his next step. He worked tirelessly, pinching pennies and sleeping on beat-up, lice-ridden sofas, until finally he accepted that he needed a change. The streets of Boston were speckled with propaganda posters, promising romantic heroism and camaraderie. The Joker proceeded to join the military. He served in the United States Armed Forces as frontline infantry during the annexation of Canada. He demonstrated durability he didn't know he had in him, surviving a number of deadly encounters. He witnessed death and suffering on a massive scale though, and it began to have a serious effect on him. While he was known for his ability to find humor in even the most precarious of circumstances, he knew it was time to settle down and be thankful he had survived when countless others had not. It was only a matter of time before the stresses of war would take its toll on his mental state. He was acknowledged for his bravery, and fortunately his service funded him the opportunity to settle in the peaceful suburbs of Sanctuary Hills. Here he met a local woman and fell deeply in love. To him she symbolized comfort, and she was solitude for him during a time when emotional support was vital. When she became pregnant, the Joker was reinvigorated, knowing he needed to find work to maintain support for his wife and unborn child. He returned to the stage, hoping time and life experience would improve his prospects as a comic. This proved to be a false hope, and he felt like a failure. In the back of his mind, he worried that she would give up on him and see him as a disappointment, just like his father had. This was until the bombs dropped and Vault 111 became their new home. It was here that the Joker's mental stability toppled and he fell into an impenetrable darkness. All it takes is one bad day to reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. and for the Joker, the most tragic day of his life was prolonged for over 200 years. He was forced to look through the window of his cryo chamber, helpless, unable to intervene as his world crumbled to dust around him. While his body was preserved by the biting cold, his mind deteriorated, seared by the things he saw. When the cryo chamber opens and the Joker emerges, his sanity is well and truly destroyed. Upon seeing the state of the Commonwealth, he bursts into laughter, as he learns the world is in ruins just like him. He now believes firmly that the glorified human ideology of honest morals and ethics is a fabrication. Law and order are now unachievable, and anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. The Joker's only motivation left is the desire to conjure chaos. He wants others to suffer as he did, and intends to infect them with his insanity. He will manipulate the railroad and use them as a terrorist group to cause unrest in the other factions. He sees their values and objectives as a frivolous waste of time, and telling them what they want to hear will let him control them. They will serve his goals as he takes great pleasure demolishing both the Institute and the Brotherhood of Steel. After dealing with them in the most horrific way possible, he will double-cross the railroad and tear them down in cold blood with his blade, grinning in self-indulgence as he does. This is only after he has used them up completely, extracting everything he can from them, importantly the ballistic weave, which will be essential to make sure he can continue killing in style. While conversing with the residents of the Commonwealth, the Joker will say what he must to gain their trust. But he is a sadistic psychopath who won't spare a thought for their feelings. All he cares about is the next joke. Sometimes slaughtering everyone is the most fun, while other times helping people only to betray them when they try to thank you is more satisfying. This incentivizes the Joker build to complete a wider range of quests even when they are morally correct. The Joker's diverse arsenal and skill set will give him the means to deal with any situation however he sees fit. He could obliterate an entire settlement with his rocket launcher, watching in amusement as dense red chunks of former citizens rain down to the ground, or conversely, he could build them farms, achieving saintly status, only to cut them to pieces and harvest their potatoes for himself. Now let's talk about stats. The Joker will start the game with 5 strength, 4 perception, 5 endurance, 5 charisma, 7 intelligence, 1 agility, and 1 luck. This special book in Sanctuary will be put into strength for bonus melee damage and inventory space. As you can tell, the Joker is very flexible. He's a jack of all trades with skills in all areas. First up, the Joker will have a respectable 6 points of strength, as his past experience with arms in the military, combined with his psychotic self-assurance, means he is no wimp in combat situations. This is enough strength to guarantee he will be proficient with a wide range of weaponry, enabling him to take fresh approaches to murder as often as possible. It's also enough to make sure he can carry all his favorite toys without a worry. Next comes 4 points of perception. The Joker is always sufficiently aware of his surroundings. In order to survive on the front lines, a soldier must know what is going on around him. We highly recommend obtaining the Perception Bobblehead as soon as possible in order to unlock the Demolition Expert perk. Luckily, as you know, we find this very early on in the game in the Museum of Freedom, so the Joker won't have to wait long to start blowing things sky high. Not many people can boast a life as strenuous as the one the Joker has led. Against insurmountable odds and through severe personal hardship, he has made it this far in one piece, although his mental health is obviously another matter. 5 points of endurance will grant access to the chem-resistant perk, which will certainly help numb the effects of his next drug-fueled rampage, as well as improving his overall ability to stay alive in the dangerous positions he so often finds himself. This born entertainer and notorious schemer knows how to deceive and exploit his victims in conversation. 5 charisma will help him through most of these encounters, especially when supplemented by his sharp fashion sense. The last notable stat is intelligence. Despite his academic complacency, the Joker is no fool, if you'll excuse my choice of words. If he's passionate about something, he has the brain power to use it to his advantage. His army days taught him to fend for himself, maintain guns, and override terminals. In those days, they were skills used to do good. Now, however, his intentions are slightly less pure. As an explicit drug aficionado, the Joker even knows how to brew more potent chems to enhance that post-killing high. The Joker tends not to rely on finesse, he's more than happy to make a mess. He's not one for subtlety, and he's not one to leave things to chance. What fun is chaos if it's tidy and the outcome always seems to favor him? For this reason, we'll be leaving agility and luck at 1 point apiece. So we have a Maniac all-rounder with talents in just about every area in a post-war playground. With all these ingredients, the Joker is prepped to make one hell of a concoction. Let's get into the specifics with his essential perks. From the strength stat line, we have Armorer. As the Joker doesn't like to walk around covered in loud, obnoxious plates of armor, the ballistic weave he gains from the railroad is a must. Maxing out Armorer will allow him to upgrade his outfits as much as possible and gain much better resistances. As we mentioned earlier, the Joker is an adept with a variety of weapons. He plays no favorites, but he loves melee weapons, heavy guns, and pistols. Gunslinger is therefore an essential perk, more on that later, but taking all ranks of the big leagues and heavy gunner perks will have his arsenal operating at optimal efficiency. Big Leaves gives plus 20% melee damage for each of the 5 ranks, and Heavy Gunner offers the same bonuses only with heavy guns instead. From Perception we take Locksmith. The Joker is a master of crafty tricks, and having unlimited access to every room possible will give no one a respite from the carnage he creates. He will also need the Demolition Expert perk. How can he achieve total destruction without explosives? This perk increases the damage dealt by thrown grenades, mines, explosive weapons, such as the missile launcher and the Fat Man, and any weapon with the explosive legendary effect. Keep in mind that the missile launcher and Fat Man also stack with the Heavy Gunner perk, meaning even more mayhem. Each of the 4 ranks of Demo Expert offers plus 25% explosive damage, peaking at double damage, and you'll also be able to craft explosives at chemistry stations, grenades will gain a throwing arc, and explosions will affect a larger area. When the Joker is taken by a fit of rage, he will often turn to drugs. The chem-resistant perk from the endurance line will permit him to pop pills and shoot up until his heart is content without any consequences. He's quite the role model. The first level will decrease the chance of chem addiction by 50%, and the second will give him full immunity. From the charisma stat tree, we have Lady Killer and Lone Wanderer. The Joker is quite the cunning linguist. He's an experienced charmer from his school and stage days, and by maxing out the Lady Killer perk, he'll deal an additional 15% damage to women in combat. They will also be much easier for him to persuade in dialogue. If you ask him, the Joker will consider himself a blast to be around, but to anyone with their head screwed on properly, they will be smart to stay well away from this loon. Besides, no one has the same dark creativity, so the benefits of the Lone Wanderer perk are ideal for him. We suggest the first 3 ranks of this perk, as the effect of rank 4 is not a priority. With this, the Joker will deal 25% more damage, he'll take 30% less, and he'll have carry weight increased by 100 pounds. Behind the white face paint is a man of intelligence, as had been the case throughout his life. That intelligence was just never focused on the right things. He understood the skills that men on the front lines needed to know, and he would put those to use in the wasteland. Putting 3 points into Medic means Stimpaks restore 80% of lost health, and Radaway removes 80% of radiation. Taking all levels of Gun Nut grants access to rank 4 gun mods, giving the Joker a plethora of combat enhancements. Similar to Locksmith, taking 3 of the 4 ranks of Hacker will allow the Joker to infiltrate every terminal in the Commonwealth. Lastly, from the intelligence line is Chemist. As we talked about before, the Joker knows all about chems, and thanks to the Chemist perks, his hits will last 200% longer. The Joker is fond of his 44 Magnum, which we'll get into shortly, and maxing the Gunslinger perk means non-automatic pistols will do double damage, and also have a much higher chance to disarm and cripple opponents. Not including gear, but including all bobbleheads, the Joker's special stats will be 7 strength, 5 perception, 6 endurance, 6 charisma, 8 intelligence, 2 agility, and 2 luck. The Joker likes to look good when he's doing his thing. He doesn't want his dying victims to see mismatched pieces of hideous metal and leather armor in their final moments. The Joker will opt for a clean striped suit, fully upgraded with ballistic weave for the necessary protection. At Mark 5, this outfit gives you plus 2 charisma, as well as 110 extra damage and energy resistance. This way he can make an impression, one those who witness him won't be able to shake from their mind. Outside of the city, when the Joker is electing to draw a little less attention, he will wear a Dirty Postman outfit, also fully upgraded with ballistic weave. At Mark 5, this gives you 110 damage and energy resistance, but also plus 1 charisma and plus 1 endurance. This is for those scenarios when he'd rather blend in with his surroundings and look as inconspicuous as possible. Both outfits are situational and can be switched out as you see fit. Feel free to add fashionable glasses or a fedora to add another layer to the ominous, creepy aesthetic. Also, don't forget to switch things up with new items in the Nuka World DLC. As for weaponry, the Joker has an exciting arsenal. In no particular order, here they are. The Joker thrives on feeling that crunch when he slams his prey into the ground. Because of this, he will occasionally use his Super Sledge. This deals 40 damage at a cost of 45 AP per swing. He'll also be packing the 44 Magnum variant, the Gainer, with the sight removed. This can be found in the Vitale pump house just south of the Hub City Auto Wreckers. It dishes out 48 damage with a bonus that sets the target on fire for 15 damage. He will use Pikmin's Blade, located at the end of the Pikmin's Gift quest in a master safe. This quick blade deals 15 normal and 25 bleed damage. When the Joker doesn't fancy the subtleties of the blade, there's the minigun, which can be upgraded to suit your playstyle, and a fully upgraded missile launcher. Top this off by carrying as many frag grenades as the carry weight will allow. Keep in mind the Joker will not have access to high-tech weapon mods available with the science perk, but you'll want a ton of explosives, a bunch of heavy guns, 1 pistol and 2 melee weapons, and do remember all the damage I've talked about is base damage. You can do way more damage than that once you get the perks. Finally, the Joker will never go out without an unhealthy supply of chems. Use chemistry stations to create all the hallucinogens and stimulants under the sun. The Joker prefers to travel alone. Companions can be taken to gain extra perks, but this will interfere with the Lone Wanderer perk, and as we commented previously, he's not the kind of fellow people want to spend extended periods of time with. As for the settlements, the Joker isn't interested in building them. Tracking down and sabotaging settlements is more up his alley. Remember though that after Nuka World comes out, the Joker may have some seriously fun raider plans up his sleeve to take over the Commonwealth. He's also in the position where he can get the local leader perk if you truly are captivated by the thought and want to do that. And so concludes another Fudge Muppet Fallout 4 build. We know this one has been requested frequently and we hope you have fun with it. If you love the Joker, give the video a like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and want to keep up with all our upcoming builds. We have a lot of them coming. And hit up the description for our social media profiles as well as the timestamps for each section. As always, thank you very much for watching. I'm Michael and I look forward to nerding out with you all again very soon.